31 days on, the war continues to escalate. Even as the United States is pushing for a pause in fighting, life's been difficult for both Palestinians and Israelis, to say the least, since the 7th of October. Over 10,000 Palestinians have lost their lives and over 1,400 Israelis lost their lives. As the war enters its 31st day, we take a look at what has unfolded since the 7th of October. Now, in the early hours of 7th of October, the Shabbat and a Jewish holiday, rockets rained down on Israel from Gaza. The Hamas militant group claimed to have fired 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes, overwhelming Israel's sophisticated Iron Dome defense system. Hundreds of Hamas militants infiltrated southern Israel by land, sea and air. Hamas militants who entered Israel went on a rampage, killing 1,400 people, mostly civilians. According to Israeli officials, among those killed were 270 youth at a music festival. The militants abducted more than 240 Israelis and foreign nationals. Israel was quick to retaliate, pounding Gaza with airstrikes even as its forces battled Hamas fighters still inside the country. It formally declared war on the militant group on the 8th of October as tanks and personnel carriers moved near the border, setting the stage for a major military operation. On the 9th of October, Israel announced a complete siege, cutting off power, food deliveries, then water supplies to the 2.4 million residents of Gaza. The following day, it retook control of the Gaza border. On the 13th of October, Israel urged the citizens of northern Gaza to move to the south within 24 hours. That was the window that was given to them. Thousands of Palestinians were forced to flee the relentless Israeli bombardment. The Arab League had denounced a forced transfer. The airstrikes on Gaza enraged the Arab nations. Iran warned if Israel's war crimes and genocide are not stopped, then the situation could spiral out of control with far-reaching consequences. Egypt said it's unwilling to take in refugees as Cairo was wary of political fallout and security risks. It said it was determined to prevent an exodus of refugees to Egypt. A Reuters video journalist was killed, 6 other journalists injured in southern Lebanon when missiles fired from the direction of Israel struck them. Then, on the 17th of October, a deadly strike hit Gaza's Al-Ahli hospital. The Hamas health ministry said that at least 471 people were killed. Hamas blamed Israel for the bombing. However, Israel denied responsibility, blamed a misfired rocket by Islamic Jihad militants. The US backed Israel's claims, and its intelligence also said that Palestinian militants were responsible for the hospital explosion. US President Joe Biden landed in Tel Aviv on the 18th of October, hours after this hospital bombing. Biden met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv. Biden's visit to Amman and Jordan was cancelled after the Gaza hospital blast. Jordan cancelled the summit where they were to host Biden and the Egyptian and Palestinian leaders. Let's move on now. 4 hostages, all women, were released by Hamas militants. The first to be freed were 2 Americans, a mother and a daughter. On the 21st of October, Israel then intensified airstrikes on Gaza with over 5,000 people being killed in the Gaza Strip. The next day, Iran warned that the West Asia conflict could spiral out of control if Israel did not stop. Iran's foreign minister said that the United States was to blame for providing military support to Israel. In Gaza, where a humanitarian crisis continues to unfold, the stock of food and medicines was depleting. Israel cut off supplies completely. After weeks, the first humanitarian aid trucks, you can see these visuals, entered via Gaza's Rafah border crossing with Egypt on the 21st of October. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the 24th of October denounced the clear violations of international humanitarian law in Gaza. His comments that attacks on Hamas did not happen in a vacuum angered Israel, which called for the UN chief's resignation and an apology. On the 28th of October, then, the Israeli army said that it had expanded its ground operations inside Gaza. Netanyahu announced the second stage of the war aimed at destroying Hamas military and leadership capabilities and rescuing the hostages. He also declared a ceasefire will not happen. Egypt opened the Rafah border crossing. Dozens of wounded Palestinians, hundreds of foreigners and dual nationals left the enclave. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made multiple visits to the country. Blinken, who is on a diplomatic tour of West Asia, speaking earlier in Baghdad, said regional leaders would welcome a humanitarian pause in Gaza. The language here is very important. With the war completing its 1 month, the faces of hostages kidnapped by Hamas were projected on the outer wall of the old city of Jerusalem. You can see here.